Happy Independence Day, and welcome to Saturday with Stephanie. I want to talk a little bit about this holiday, but in particular, there's been a lot of conversation lately about freedom and what it means, and a lot of the complications of our current world in terms of relations between the races, things like that I only want to address slightly, but in a particular way that's very meaningful to me. Back when I was in college, I had the amazing opportunity to take a class on the Harlem Renaissance. Actually, as a side note, I got to be a teacher's assistant for the second time that they offered the class. It's one of those fun things about going to a small Lutheran school that you get to do these kinds of cool opportunities, take some interesting classes that might not otherwise be offered at a major university, or you might not be aware of because there's so many students and so many classes. Just for a little piece of trivia for all of you, taking this class on the Harlem Renaissance is actually how Pastor Travis and I started dating in the first place. We started sitting together in the class, started talking more, and eventually started dating. So the rest is history. So I actually I have a really special place in my heart for the class overall. But one of the things that we learned about during this class was a song, a hymn called Lift Every Voice and Sing. The song was written actually as a poem by a man named James Weldon Johnson. And an interesting piece is that he was a big part of the Harlem Renaissance and the things that went on there. And if you don't know about the Harlem Renaissance, I really encourage you to do some looking. The amount of amazing poetry and music and art that came out of this time period was just phenomenal. And me, I majored in English in college, and so I just have a special place in my heart for poetry in general. Probably the best known poet out of that time period is a man named Langston Hughes. I'm sure you've heard of him. I had the opportunity to learn first about him when I was in junior high and have loved his poetry ever since. But anyway, getting back to the song, here's an interesting piece for you to be aware of. It actually is in our hymnal. You might not have realized that, but it actually is in our hymnal, in the section on nation and national songs. And that's the reason that I wanted to share it with you today, because the words fit so well with this day. Regardless of the color of your skin, I would love for you to hear the words. And I'm just going to read them to you right now because, first of all, I've actually had some allergy issues lately, and so my voice is not strong enough to sing. And second of all, it's actually copyrighted. And all of you who have been watching our worship videos know that we're being very, very cautious about not including any sort of copyrighted music. Because we don't have the rights to do that. So the very first link in the comments section of this video, you will find a link to someone who actually had the rights to sing it. And so I really commend to you to, once you've finished hearing this video, watching this video, click on that and listen to it being sung, because the tune is absolutely beautiful. We haven't really done it in church, but part of that is it's actually kind of a challenging tune to sing. So just wanted to share with you these words because it is still to this day one of my favorites. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter, the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. Yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our parents sighed. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come, treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, Thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, Thou who hast by thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path, we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee, lest our hearts drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land. At times, there has been some conversation in certain circles about making this our national anthem. Now, we are never going to probably replace the Star-Spangled Banner as the national anthem, and I'm not suggesting that we should. But I do think there's a place for this in the canon of the songs that we sing around this holiday. We think of the Star-Spangled Banner. We think of America the Beautiful. Those are oftentimes the hymns that pop into our heads when we think about Independence Day, Memorial Day. God Bless Our Native Land is another one of those. So just wanted to share with you yet another one that has been really meaningful to me, has a special place in my heart, and definitely give a listen to it being sung because it is so beautiful and so very important for us to remember. Just as a piece to this, so you are aware, it has sometimes been referred to as the Black National Anthem. And I know that there are some of you who watch this that automatically gets you riled up and gets you upset. I would encourage you to just pause for a moment and just realize that someone who looks different than you may have different experiences than you. And for them, this song is incredibly powerful and incredibly meaningful. And so I just ask you to think about what this means for others around you. All of us are struggling right now to figure out how to deal with race relations at a time when it seems to have finally exploded in the public consciousness for the first time, I think, possibly since the civil rights era. And I encourage you to keep wrestling with these things. Don't just reject them out of hand. Remember to be sensitive to those around you and how your words might be harder for others to hear than what you intend them to be. And just to soften your language, to borrow from a friend of mine. I encourage that today, especially as we celebrate our independence as a nation. As some of you may have watched the Hamilton musical last night when it finally dropped, and I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, just time-wise and everything, but I'm so excited for it to finally get to see it. But one of the things that happens in that musical is it talks about, yes, we're free, but the line not yet. And it's important to remember that when our country became free, not everyone was. And it took a long time for everyone to be free. And we're still learning and growing even today. And I know for some of you that's a hard thing to hear, but I just want to commend to you that you can celebrate freedom and remember what this day is all about. And remember that there are those for whom this day is harder. Those who lost loved ones in the military, it's harder for them. And those who served in the military, it's hard for them to watch days like today and Memorial Day turn into just a free-for-all of barbecues and picnics and parties without any acknowledgement of those who sacrificed so much. But there are those also in our midst, people of color, for whom this holiday has some baggage that comes along with it. And just to acknowledge that, to pause for a moment, to reflect, and to remember that all of our experiences collectively make us a country. America as a country has such a beautiful and complicated history. And I think it's amazing to learn more and more about it wherever you can. I encourage that to you. And I encourage you to remember those for whom this holiday is especially difficult. And in the midst of that, we're also in a pandemic. And so there may be those who are frustrated by the barbecues and the picnics and all of those things too. So just to pause and recognize that in your freedom, that you get to celebrate this day. Remember to love everyone around you, even those that you disagree with, because guess what? We're free in this country to disagree with each other. And while that is a curse sometimes, it's also a blessing. So I hope these words are helpful to you. I pray if they are not, that you'll reach out to me. I'm happy to talk more about it. I am happy to have conversations about it. So enjoy your celebration, whatever that looks like today. Please be safe, whether it's safe from the virus or safe from shooting off firecrackers, because that always scares me when people are doing that. Just remember to be safe this holiday, because it's always a little bit difficult when you mix explosives and alcohol. So please do not. And enjoy this time with your family. And I pray we will see you in worship tomorrow. Thanks so much.